After days of questions, the Trump administration has finally deserted Davos in the desert. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin had been scheduled up until about 11:29 a.m. Eastern for weeks to attend, but then a minute later via Twitter, he abandoned plans to attend this Saudi conference. And of course, he follows this who's who list of withdrawals from the country's premier financial event after questions swirl about the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia's involvement or knowledge, the disappearance and possible murder, likely murder, of a Saudi critic named Khashoggi. Charlie Gasparino has new details on high-profile exits and why they may not really mean an end to Wall Street, at least, being involved.
We should point out that we've been asking Wall Street all day, are you going to attend? They've been hedging like crazy today. We should point out that David Solomon, the CEO of Goldman, was just on CNBC.
Yes.
He's on that show. We are reporting that Goldman Sachs is planning to send executives to the conference.
He just said, we will not send Dina Powell or any
senior executives. Sounds like they're going.
Little wiggle room?
Yeah, and what was fascinating about the CNBC interview is that, of course, the people over there don't ask them the follow-up questions. Okay, if it's not senior, are you sending anybody? You see, the way all these firms were thinking of doing it, they were going to say, Jamie Dimon, not going. James Gorman, the CEO of Morgan Stanley. Jamie is of J.P. Morgan, not going. Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, not going. But we all have presence in Riyadh, and we may send, just to keep our presence there, we may send our people on the ground to the conference. Okay? Guess what? That's still in effect as of today. I should point out that Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Citigroup from we understand, are assessing whether to send anybody to this conference still, despite the fact that Goldman is trying to say that it's not sending senior execs. From we understand what's still clearly on the table, and it may change by tomorrow, Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary's decision to pull out, everybody started reassessing. As soon as that happened, they may send junior executives or the people on the ground. Remember, they have people in the Middle East, okay? So the real question is, what does this mean? I mean, let's be real clear about Wall Street, why this is a big story for Wall Street. Every major Wall Street firm wants to do business with the Saudi royal family. Lots of money over there to invest, a potential IPO for Saudi Aramco, the big oil company that's going to diversify. Everybody wants a piece of that. To totally snub the Saudi royal family now, even amid, let's face it, a murder of a journalist, which is pretty bad, it could be a big business impact for them.
Up until Mnuchin pulled out, Fox Business was going to go, and
we are
then
not now
Fox
going.
Business not going anymore, not sponsoring either.
If you read the statement from us, and I think it's a decent statement, if Mohammed bin Salman agrees to an interview with Maria Bartiromo, we would do that. I think that's in there, and that would be an amazing interview if he agrees for that, because the question to him would obviously be, tell me why we shouldn't believe that the Saudi royal family is not responsible for the death of the journalist Khashoggi. So this is an interesting story right now. I think we'll know more tomorrow. I mean, this is not over yet. The ramifications of the conference and who attends, and does Wall Street totally backdoor the Saudi royal family? And does Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, does he still have a hold on that job? I mean, does the royal family find some compelling reason to throw him overboard? Is there someone that could step in? And because what this is looking like, it's been looking like this for days, but we're finally getting some clarity out of the Trump administration. As you remember, I reported yesterday that Pompeo, the Secretary of State, was supposed to give a press conference. He did. He's waiting for more information. It looks like this is a downright murder hit job. And maybe
the New York Post has a picture of
maybe torture.
A bodyguard of Mohammed bin Salman, who is also one of the identified on the hit squad. So,
how do you separate him out? The Trump administration was hoping for evidence that would put some distance between the royal family and something that they can hang their hat on. That never came, and that's why Pompeo did not have a joint press conference, from what I understand, with someone from the royal family.
And we bring it back to this, folks, that when that headline hit from Steven Mnuchin and his tweet, the markets didn't love it. Let's put it that way. It's not that they didn't love that he's not going. It's just it shocked the markets. Markets and traders do not like surprises. And listen, It can't possibly have been a surprise at this point. But we're looking at a Dow Jones Industrials down 361 points. Financials are all in the red. Charlie Gasparino, thank you very much.